Terrifier fans couldn't possibly have been underwhelmed by the brutality of Terrifier 3, right? Let's talk a little bit about that.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I want to be a fighter, like you.
Oh, let it burn! Let it burn!
Did you miss me?
You have to shoot them in the head. They always come back.
The boat can leave now. Tell the crew.
But sometimes that is better.
Good luck.
Hey everybody, I'm KillJoy Jake, and today we're talking about Terrifier 4, one of my favorite upcoming horror installments to really dive into on this page. Now, I know that this week is Twisted Childhood Universe week on the page, and there is already a review up for Pinocchio Unstrung, which is spoiler-free. Go check it out before the movie drops this Friday, but it has been an exciting news week, especially for Terrifier and Scream fans. New Scream video dropping tomorrow, by the way. Terrifier 4 is said to show us Art the Clown's backstory in the first 15 minutes, while the rest of the movie takes place on New Year's Eve, likely picking up where we left off in part 3. I'm pretty confident that nobody on that bus is gonna live to see the Terrifier 4 title card. The fourth and seemingly final film in the Terrifier franchise is expected to release sometime in 2027. I'm also hoping to see pro wrestler Rhea Ripley in the flick, who has been lobbying hard to be a part of the franchise for a while now with a variety of public stunts. One even included an Art the Clown costume and a Terrifier merch collab. Did I mention that she pretended to get killed during an Ice 9 Kills concert by the clown? Her appearance in the next movie is certainly one of the big questions revolving around Terrifier 4, but the biggest question, of course, is will this movie top the brutality of the sequels that came before it? Well, Damien Leone has just shared with us a brand new post that promises that Terrifier 4 will be like part 2 but on steroids. Now this is interesting to me because Terrifier 2 really expanded upon the whole Terrifier concept from the first movie, making it much more epic, bigger, and bloodier. Terrifier 4 is rumored to be taking the series to hell, not only from hints from the previous films, but also some rumors that have been going through the grapevine. That's a pretty ambitious swing, like making your slasher movie almost 2.5 hours long. Now this immediately brings up a pretty big question about the franchise. Did Terrifier 3 actually eclipse the brutality of Terrifier 2? Some fans would still argue that Terrifier 2 is the most vicious sequel so far, with the bedroom scene being Art's most egregious kill ever. It's a good time to make the point that I don't think there's a single Terrifier film that doesn't deliver on the kills. If you want blood, guts, and viscera, these movies will certainly deliver there. No doubt about that. Personally though, I have to praise the creativity of Terrifier 3 specifically. While T2 will likely forever hold the crown for best kill of the series, I think I just prefer the higher quality of every single scene in Terrifier 3. There is absolutely no weak link in that chain, as the third entry features non-stop face-ripping, flesh-freezing, and scrotum-mulching violence. It is one of the worst things that has ever been projected onto these eyeballs, and David Howard Thornton's goofy performance makes it all digestible. Well, at least for me. I don't necessarily need Terrifier 4 to top the bedroom scene, which I still would agree is Art the Clown's best kill. I'd rather get another situation like in part 3 where every single scene is a big showcase of something. Terrifier 3 was able to do things that part 2 couldn't on its $250,000 budget, like feature a stronger supporting cast, employ Christian Tinsley and co. to do the practical effects while Damien Leone focused on directing, and even featured a shocking explosion made to look like it took place at a shopping mall. To paraphrase the lawyer from Jurassic Park, that shit's expensive.
Are they heavy?
Yeah.
Then they're expensive. Put them back.
I also think it's impressive that Terrifier 3 was able to take it to that level after climbing up the indie ladder all those decades before. Terrifier 3 is more than just a single showcase sequence. It's playing around with all of its shiny new tools in its tool belt. That's just my opinion on the matter though. This is a debate that will likely go on for eons because, like I said earlier, every single Terrifier film delivers on the kills, man. But there is one other element to Terrifier 2 that I think makes it my favorite film in the franchise overall. When T2 broke onto the scene in October of 2022, it was not only praised for its outrageous kills, but also its story element that was a major improvement upon the first movie. Giving Art the Clown a juxtaposing ray of light with Sienna Shaw to counter his chaotic evil energy is exactly what this series needed to relieve the tension. The thing about building tension and terror is that it's all about timing and pacing. If you don't spend enough time building things up, your hit won't land, and if you just spend all of your time building tension without giving your audience a minute to breathe, then every hit will feel still less powerful than the last. Rob Zombie Halloween. It's that element that makes the original Terrifier film feel so long in the tooth despite being significantly shorter than the other two sequels. Terrifier 3 also had a great story that dealt with the trauma Sienna is still trying to overcome around Christmas time, but never really moved forward on the questions from the previous sequel, rather posing them again in different ways. Terrifier 3 suffers slightly from being a middle part of a trilogy that does kind of spin its wheels a bit, which can invoke the aimlessness of the original Terrifier again. By the way, when I say that Terrifier 3 is the middle part of a trilogy, I've always just considered the first Terrifier movie to be like this optional prequel film that explains how Vicky came to be. The actual story going on here starts in Terrifier 2. Now, on the other side of that though, I do like that Terrifier 3 preserves the mystery of this franchise. We haven't gotten all the answers yet, even though it sounds like we're about to in Terrifier 4, which is said to be the final chapter of this whole thing. Having all the questions answered already might make for a slump of a climactic ending with the next film. So I think ultimately that's gonna end up being the right choice for this series, but I understand why fans weren't crazy about Terrifier 3's story, which kinda just sets the stage for the next film while reiterating some plot details from Terrifier 2. For example, Terrifier 3 shows us these flashback sequences with Michael Shaw, Sienna's dead father, who has mysterious ties to the festering jester we all know and love. These scenes didn't give us anything explicitly new about the character, kind of just honing in on the same stuff we learned about him from the previous film. It was cool to see Lost Boy Jason Patric, however. This is also a great example of Terrifier 3 pulling out some shiny new tools from its tool belt. It's like Bob the Builder if he was an evil Satan clown. I think a lot of these elements that were stringing along from part 2 are finally going to get some sort of resolve moving into part 4, however. Take the demon from that same flashback that we see crafting Sienna's armor in hell. I doubt that's just a cool visual Damien wanted to throw in there. I think it's a tease that the fire and brimstone we're likely going to see a lot in the next film if the Christian symbolism of the past two flicks has any meaning behind it. A lot of these enigmatic moments that feel inconsequential now may retroactively have so much meaning once we've seen the whole picture. This reminds me a lot of my favorite trilogy of all time, The Lord of the Rings. If you just watched all 2 hours and 58 minutes of the first film, or heck, all 3 hours and 48 minutes of the extended edition, you might feel as if the story is incomplete. The Fellowship of the Ring ends with a bit of a cliffhanger, seeing the Fellowship split up and the tragic loss of Sean Bean's Boromir. I would have followed you, my brother, my captain, my king. Be at peace, son of Gondor. The point being here, the story only feels whole once you've finished the entire trilogy, and trust me, that is a bit of a chore with Lord of the Rings. Really fun watch, but takes you some time, man, especially if you're going through those extended editions. I would rather have a trilogy that feels incomplete while we wait for the next entry, rather than get a trilogy that feels entirely disconnected from each entry. David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy. Something in my throat today, sorry everybody. If you only care about the brutality when it comes to these movies, then I guess a lot of this stuff you guys won't really care about. But I've always felt that there was more to Terrifier than just the kills. I'm excited to see especially how the story wraps up in the next movie. We're just gonna have to be patient until that one finally releases. I will also mention that there are a couple of lawsuits that could be delaying Terrifier 4's release anytime soon. Hopefully that's not the case. You can check out my last Terrifier update video if you want to learn more about all of that though. Personally, I think both of these are going to get resolved, hopefully out of court sometime soon, and then we can start talking about production updates. I'd be pretty shocked if any of these suits actually kill this movie, but I'll keep you updated on any of the drama that comes through. Before we wrap up today's video, please make sure to like it and subscribe to this page for more updates on the most exciting horror projects. Also, the best way to support this channel is by becoming a patron on Patreon. Over there, you can find a ton of bonus content like reactions to various horror TV shows and movies. We're currently watching Dexter and Hannibal with multiple episodes going up there a week. No, what? Check it out by clicking on the link in the description below. One final plug and I'll shut the heck up. Please make sure to also check out my film channel, Human Egg Productions, where we're currently posting horror and comedy short films. If you like slashers especially, check out the gory short I wrote and directed called Chicken Man. Thank you to everyone who supports all of my pages. What do you guys think about Terrifier 4 though? Is it necessary that this movie tops the bedroom sequence? Does that really matter when we got so many other cool things going on now? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.